When I found out somebody was stealing my identity, I thought that it was some sort of person overseas just getting it. My information might have been sold, I don't know. But when I found out, the most crazy thing ever, it was my long-lost identical twin. You won't believe how messy this gets. Never in my dreams I thought that I would be looking for help here to keep myself sane. But here I am with problems that seem too dramatic to be true. Hey guys, I'm Ethan, the future heir of the Coleman Empire. That's right, but before I continue, let me clarify that all names used in the story are purely fictional, as I honestly cannot bear any more scandals than I already have to handle in the past 3 months. So, as the future heir of one of the biggest empires in the state, reading fake news about me in some local papers or clickbait-focused articles is no big deal. I can go as fast as saying that I'm used to it. But lately, I've been reading all sorts of things about me, and the only issue is all of the mentioned events are true. It's just I wasn't part of any of them as they made it out to be. Yes, I'm being falsely accused of a lot of things that I never did. Fraud, money embezzlement, counterfeiting, inside trading, you name it. I've been blamed for it against my own company, can you believe it? Well, it isn't just the media now. It's the whispers behind my back, the suspicious looks from people I've known for years. Everyone seems convinced that I'm the one harming our business. Even my own family, and by family I mean relatives, aren't really sure if they can trust me anymore. I wouldn't have cared generally, but some of them are major investors in our company. And what they think matters, at least to what goes on in the company anyways. It's like my whole world is crumbling and I'm standing in the middle of the wreckage, wondering how it all went so wrong. Thankfully, my parents still trust me and have been doing everything in their power to protect me. I just don't know how much longer they can do it. See, things have gone so out of hand that the people who used to trust me so much and hang on to every word I used to say, calling me the bright future of the empire, now look at me in disdain. Last week, we had this crucial board meeting, giving everything that's been going on, and I decided to stay back and not join it. However, my father insisted that since I've done nothing wrong, I shouldn't be the one hiding my face. So I joined and immediately regretted it. When I entered the boardroom, instead of the usual cherry smiles and respectful greetings, what met me was skeptical glances, subtle furrows of brows, and whispered murmurs of doubt. I just ignored them and focused on the presentation. When it was my turn to offer a bit of my input, it was like my words were falling on deaf ears. Crestfallen, I resumed my seat and left the room as soon as the meeting was over. I later got to know that my father had a heated argument with the other board members about the way they treated me, but they simply said that they could no longer trust me. Until my innocence is proven, as my father claims, he should avoid including me in any important meetings or decision-making for safety concerns. I wonder how long my father will have to take all this. It wasn't just the people at work. Even my close friends were influenced by the persuasive words of the media. Since I decided to take a break from work, I thought I should go out with my friend somewhere. But guess what? None of my friends picked up my calls except one, and the first words from her were, and I quote, I heard what they're saying about you, Ethan. Did you really do it? Her words were like daggers to my heart. I should have guessed the only reason she picked up the call was for gossip. Anyways, you get the gist of the situation that I'm in. Now, let me tell you the real reason I'm here on the internet, sharing my problem with a bunch of strangers. Remember how I mentioned that my trouble is somewhat unrealistic? Well, the thing is, I personally hired someone to investigate the things that have been going on in the company, and he found the weirdest thing ever. After his existence of the extensive investigation, guess what conclusion they finally came to? He said that everything had been done by me. Yeah, I know, right? I first asked him if he was joking, but then he showed evidence including the pictures and clips from my company's secret cameras. Not many people know about them, so the private investigator did a great job, I have to give him that, and it definitely was me in them. But how could I be? I would recall visiting places and doing things if I had in fact did it, but I don't recall doing such at all. I was utterly confused. What's happening to me? Am I losing my mind? My memories? 1,000 such questions were going roundabout in my head, and I had answers to not even one. It was then that it hit me. I knew my father had been investigating the case too, and he's the only other person apart from me to have access to all the CCTV. He must have come across the evidence as well. I mean, why didn't he discuss this with me? Or at least say anything? So I confronted my own father with the evidence, and at first he seemed shocked but quickly resumed his composure and asked me where I received these from. He completely ignored the question and asked me to stay out of it and, left saying that he's busy. Suspicious much. Wait till you hear what happened next. Yesterday. Wait, but first, let me introduce my girlfriend to you guys. Her name's Mia, and she's everything to me. We've been together for almost our whole life. We were neighbors first, and then classmates, and then the best of buddies, and now she's the love of my life. She gets me like no one else does, and even in my tough times, and even in the current tough situation, she's the only support helping me get by. Our families are friends too, and they've approved of us since we were in kindergarten. It's kind of fixed that we're gonna end up getting married, and I couldn't be happier about it. So yesterday, back to that. I receive a call from Mia saying that she's been waiting for the past hour and a half. Naturally, I get confused and ask why she had been waiting for me. She thought that I was joking, but when I remained clueless for 5 more minutes, she understood that something was off. She told me how I met her at the university that morning, and we talked for, half an hour? And I asked her that since I've been going through some troubles at my company and I'm bored, I asked her to bring some of the projects from her dad's company so I can help him and kill my time as well. Now, the thing is, me helping her father with some project, that's not a big deal. No, I had done so on multiple past occasions. However, I've been holed up at my house this entire morning. There's no way I could have met her. I asked her to rush home and not meet anyone or give those files no matter what, not even to me. She was naturally confused but agreed on the condition that I'd explain to her what's going on later as soon as I was able to. I called my PI and asked him to come on over quick. Till the time he arrived, I checked the cameras at my house, and clearly I've been at my home the whole day. I've asked him to try and get the footage of Mia's university this morning and check if I've been there. Well, soon enough. He went ahead and procured those for me, and there I was, talking, walking, kissing Mia. No wonder she got so worried. I mean, there was one difference, though, and we could find after looking at it for hours. I wonder how I didn't notice in the previous footage. The version of me had a scar on the back of my neck, and he wore such tacky shoes I could never, even in my worst of dreams. So one thing was clear, there was somebody else who just happens to look exactly like me. Somebody who knows a lot, and if not everything about me, and is set on ruining me, but why? Why? Who is the man? What is he after? How come we look so much alike? Did my father know? And if yes, why is he hiding it? There's a ton of questions running through my head, and I don't know what to think. I just know one thing that I'll get to the bottom of. I mean, what do you guys think? I'll update you as soon as I learn something new. Until then, goodbye. What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. So I do want to read this negative comment. It says, honestly, Ethan, I'm finding it hard to believe your story. I mean, come on. A lookalike who's out to ruin your life. Come on. It sounds like it's straight out of some soap opera. And now you're trying to blame your own father for not telling you about it? Are you sure the story isn't just some fictional piece for, I don't know, one of your crazy dreams? Or maybe you really did commit those frauds and just don't want to accept it. Sounds like you're just making excuses for your own actions. Maybe you should take some responsibility for whatever mess you've gotten yourself into. Hey, I'm just saying. Alright guys, we do have multiple updates, and this story is absolutely going to heat up. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, and also check out my other channel, Mr. Reddito's Revenge. Alright, here's the first update. Hey guys, I know it's been 2 months since I first posted here about my bizarre situation. As promised, I'm here after I discovered the truth about my doppelganger. But before I get into that, I want to thank each and every one of you for the support and kind comments. Some of your comments were so colorful that they made me forget about my actual problems for a bit. Let me tell you, some of you were dead on point, saying that he may be my long-lost twin. Well, guess what? He is. I know, the story keeps getting more bizarre, but bear with me. His name is Aaron, and he is my twin brother. I know this is a lot, but I'm only writing this update after double confirming everything. Let me start from where I left off. So, After I learned, thanks to my girlfriend, that I have a doppelganger out there dead set on ruining me, I asked a private investigator to look into it now that we have a direction. Well, it was easier for him to, and within 20 days, he hands me this stack of papers and some photos, and as I flip through it, my world gets turned upside down. He then handed me an address, and it was his address. I won't bore you guys by doing finer details about how my PI found out everything that he did, but it turns out that when we were just little, my Aunt Lucy, who, by the way, had never liked my mom, paid our former nanny, Louise, to run away with Aaron when we were just 2. She I guess, hoped this would cause some pain to my mother since she hated her and would leave no chance to hurt her. Guys, I never understood what issues she had with my mother, and neither did my mom even tell me. She didn't want me to hold a grudge against her, and anyways, so due to that, Aaron had been living with her since then, and now this is my assumption, that it's likely that he recently came to know of his identity. I wanted to go visit him, but before that, I needed to be sure. So I paid a visit to my Aunt Lucy and confronted her. Of course, it was all fake drama and feigning innocence before I threatened to hand her over to the police. She then confessed everything that my PI had found out and offered me the number of our former nanny, Louise. She also told me that Louise had been raising Aaron as her own and still lived with him. I called her up and asked her to meet me at her house. The reason I called her beforehand was I asked her to make sure that my twin was not there. I wanted to learn everything about him before I met him. I asked her to try to not run, as that would be futile, and she assured me that she had no such intentions. So, I reached the address and interrogated her about Aaron. She tells me how Aaron was such a sweet, good boy as me when he was a child, but since he had no proper guidance, he had some criminal tendencies and already had several charges actually going against him. She had barely been able to control him, and not at all since he learned about his true identity. I asked her why she did all this, and, we could have offered her a lot more money if she had just brought Aaron back, or better yet, never taken him. To which she breaks down. She confessed that money was never the reason. See, she was earning more than enough working for my parents, but my Aunt Lucy threatened her using her little daughter, and she could not let any harm come to her. I felt pity, but I was still skeptical, see. I asked how come she was able to tell me everything now. Isn't she worried about her daughter? She told me that she had died a month before Aaron learned the truth. In fact, it was her who knowingly made sure that he learned the truth by leaving her phone open with a bunch of Lucy's text on top. I know, there was no point blaming this poor woman, it was all my aunt's fault, but that was a problem for another day. I asked her not to tell my brother anything yet and to wait for my call so that she could help set up a meeting, and I left. Well, before I meet my brother, I need to confront my dad. He definitely knows something, but has been quiet all along. This mystery keeps getting messier, yet I'm still adamant I'll solve it. Anyways, I'll update you guys soon, so until next time, see ya. Update number 2. Hello everyone, I met my twin brother. I know, it was so unrealistic, like looking at myself in the mirror. But, before I tell you the details of our fine meeting, let me start from the get-go. It's been over a month since I last posted it. Remember how I had this nagging feeling that my father knew more than he was letting on? So I decided to confront him about it, and I approached him with a mix of apprehension, a bit of determination I'd say, ready to get some answers. I tell him about my discovery regarding Aaron and about how I uncovered the truth that he's been keeping from me. My father's reaction was surprise, but concern. He definitely knew something was up. But then he admitted knowing the absolute truth about Aaron and confessed that he had only recently learned about Aaron himself while investigating the case. The reason he didn't take any quick action was a bit similar to me. He wanted to learn more about Aaron first and more importantly clear his name before he introduced him to the world as one of us. He further explained that the reason he had not told me was because he didn't want to add to my burden, especially with everything else going on in my life. He also told me that when he discovered the absolute truth, about Aunt Lucy's role in Aaron's disappearance, he was furious. He couldn't believe that somebody he trusted could betray our family in such a profound way. With the help of our family's lawyers, my father filed a lawsuit against Aunt Lucy, accusing her of planning Aaron's abduction all those years ago. Guys, the evidence was absolutely overwhelming, and I mean absolutely overwhelming. overwhelming. Testimonies from Louise, records of payments made to her, and even Aunt Lucy's own admission during interrogation. In the end, Aunt Lucy was found guilty of kidnapping, conspiracy charges, amongst other things, and was sentenced to serve time in a federal penitentiary. Naturally, I forgave my father for keeping the truth from me, knowing that he had only done what he thought was best, but I told him that he could take his time sorting things out in the company, but I was going to meet my twin brother soon, and he agreed to it. And so I set out to find Aaron. But when I finally tracked him down, he wasn't exactly thrilled to see me. He was angry, bitter, and full of resentment towards our family. He blamed them for abandoning him, for leaving him to fend for himself in a world that had never been kind to him. I was expecting this. See, Luis warned us of Aaron's anger towards us and how hurt he was. I tried to reason with him, to show him that I wasn't his enemy. I believed that deep down he was just a lost soul in need of love and support. I thought that maybe if I reached out to him with open arms, he would be able to work through the differences and find a way to move forward. I know it wasn't going to be easy. But I somehow managed to get through to him and asked him to come home with us. When Aaron finally returned home after being separated from his family for so long, our parents could not contain their joy. He met our parents, and it wasn't exactly the wholesome moment one would expect, but I guess that's understandable. In the days that followed, I did everything in my power to make Aaron feel welcome. And, of course, to show him that he was a valued member of our family. We talked, we laughed, and we shared memories of our childhood together. I even introduced him to my girlfriend, and he apologized for everything that he did in anger. Well, we may look alike, but he and I are so very different, you know. See, where I had stories of earning trophies and medals and academics. That's right. He shared his snippets of victory about how he fooled someone and made money off it. Where I tend to be calm and collect, he seems impulsive and someone who takes action without thinking about any sort of consequences. But then it could be because I grew up in a loving environment, you know, surrounded by support and encouragement. I had access to resources and opportunities that helped me shape into the person that I am today. You know, Aaron, however, had a rough start in life, and he was abandoned at a young age and grew up feeling resentful and neglected. I guess we still have a long way to go before we truly are able to connect like brothers, but I'm adamant that we're gonna make it happen. You see, that poor boy had to go through a lot, and I'll surely try my best to make up for it. Thank you for all your support through this difficult time. Update number 3. Hello everyone, trust me, I'm as shocked as you guys that I'm back here, and the last time I updated, which was about a month and a half ago, I was sure that was it for my story, but I guess not. A lot's happened since then, and conclusion is Aaron is in jail. He won't be coming out anytime soon, let me explain. Oh boy. Well, you see, I'd been wrong all along. I thought there was some saving of my brother, but I guess I was too late. He's chosen his path in life, and there's no turning back now. It may not have been his fault initially, but now he had a choice. He could have just chosen to walk the right path. He had a family who would have been there to support him now, and a brother who would have gone to any extent to help him, but he chose to throw it all out. After we brought him back home, we tried a lot to make him comfortable and made sure that he remains with no complaints against us. For a while, it felt like it was working, like we were truly connecting. My father even sorted the stuff in the company, only he could have done it. And we were ready to publicly introduce him to everyone. However, he refused and said he needed a bit more time before he could accept his new reality. Well, you know, his request had seemed reasonable, so we agreed. But little did we know he had some other plans in store. It was, I guess, about 2 weeks after that when we discovered multiple cases of money embezzlement and fraud, all pointing towards me and the company. Again, this time it was easy to guess who was behind it all, but when we confronted him, he wasn't remorseful. He was defiant, unrepentant, and full of rage. My father was angry and wanted him to take responsibility for his actions. When he felt that he was being cornered, he attempted to run away, and in that he lashed out, hurting my mother in his desperate bid to escape. She hit her head on a marble table hard and she started bleeding profusely. However, he didn't stop or even look back once towards his biological mom. At that moment, I realized that Aaron was beyond saving. No amount of love or support could change who he was. He was a
lost cause, a victim of his own choices and circumstances, and so with a heavy heart, I watched as he ran away without any care and instantly knew what needed to be done. So, once I made sure that my mother was doing better, I went to the person who knew Aaron the best, Louise. With the help of her help and the police, we started searching for Aaron. I shared all the evidence that we had against him, the fraudulent transactions, the attempts to flee, and most importantly, the harm he inflicted upon our own mother. It wasn't an easy decision to make, but turning in my own brother to the authorities, I knew it was the right thing to do. Then a week ago, the call came. The police had apprehended him and he was being held in custody pending trial. Yesterday, the verdict came for him. He was sentenced to jail for 20 years. Identity theft, fraud, attempted escape, assault, conspiracy based on his actions within the company, his attempt to flee from authorities, and of course physical harm inflicted on his mother. Yes, he got 11 charges. I wish I had not discovered about my brother at all. It would have been a lot easier, but I guess it was a lesson too that you cannot save a person if they don't want to be saved. I'm not sure whether what I did was right or wrong, but I had to protect my family somehow because someone who can hurt his own mother without a second thought should not be a part of our family. I don't know. What do you guys think? Did I do the right thing? Anyways, this is it for my story. Thank you once again to all of you for your engagement and support. You've given me a lot. Thank you and goodbye.
This comment got a lot of attention, and people in the comment section were all over this one. It says, okay, I've got to be real here. Ethan, you've seriously messed up, man. I mean, come on. Handing your own brother to the police? Talk about betrayal of the century. You clearly seem like the type who's clearly only looking out for himself and doesn't care who you hurt in the process. Yeah, your brother might have made some mistakes, but who hasn't? Turning him over to the police was a seriously shady move, man. You had no right to play the judge and jury like that, and don't give me that whole "he's beyond saving" nonsense. People can change, you know. Maybe if you would actually try to help him instead of throwing him under the bus, things would have turned out differently. Wow. I want to know what you guys think about that one. It was actually mixed feelings in the comment section. Some people agreed with the commenter. Some people said, what are you talking about? So let us talk about it down below in the comment section. Guys, my name is Mr. Reddit, so I narrate stories like this every single day. And if you want to be a part of these stories, consider subscribing. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and of course remember, it's cool to be kind. Peace.